Donald Trump's economic plans are pretty bold and controversial, and they could really shake things up. From your grocery bills to your 401k, he's talking about big tax cuts, universal tariffs, and slashing energy costs, which sounds great, right? But there are some risks involved, like higher deficits, possible trade wars, and inflation that might be lurking just around the corner. Will Trump's strategies bring prosperity or chaos? Experts are predicting everything from $7,600 increases in household costs to a 10% drop in the stock market, so the stakes are really high. Get ready because we're diving into the ups and downs of Trump's economy, what it means for you. And hey, before we jump in, don't forget to like this video, hit subscribe, and ring that notification bell. Welcome to Finavault, your vault of finance insights. Let's break it down. Tax cuts, the ultimate crowd pleaser. Trump's economic blueprint for his second term features a familiar headliner: slashing corporate tax rates from 21% to a jaw-dropping 15%. He's also cutting taxes on tips and Social Security benefits. Sounds great, right? But here's the catch. The US government risks adding a staggering $5.8 trillion to the national debt over the next decade. That's like handing every American household an IOU and saying, "We'll figure it out later." The proposed cuts would also accelerate Social Security insolvency. According to watchdogs, the trust fund could run dry by 2031, shaving 3 years off its already precarious timeline. For seniors relying on these benefits, that's a potential financial cliff. Not exactly a comforting thought. The cost of Made in America pride can be high for your wallet. Trump's tariff game is back and it's bigger than ever. Picture this: a universal tariff of 10% to 20% on all imports, with a whopping 60% tariff on goods from China. His goal? Reduce trade deficits, boost domestic manufacturing, and bring jobs back to American soil. But economists are waving red flags. For starters, retaliatory tariffs could make a comeback, as seen in Trump's first term when Canada and the EU hit back against his steel and aluminum tariffs. The costs? U.S. farmers were caught in the crossfire, losing export markets. UBS predicts a 10% market contraction if these tariffs go through. And let's talk about your grocery bill. Import prices would skyrocket, potentially raising annual household costs by anywhere from $2,600 to $7,600, according to estimates. Yikes. Can Trump make the Fed dance to his tune? Let's just say it's a risky waltz. If there's one thing Trump isn't shy about, it's criticizing the Federal Reserve. While the Fed is supposed to be independent, Trump has hinted he'd like a bit more influence over its decisions. His gripe? The Fed's interest rate hikes during his first presidency, which he claims stifled economic growth. But here's the rub. Meddling with the Fed could jeopardize its independence and long-term stability. Meanwhile, the Fed has already cut rates by 0.75% since September. Some experts worry this aggressive easing might give inflation a second wind. With 10-year Treasury yields jumping 55 basis points to 4.3%, the bond market isn't exactly thrilled either. I'm sure you want to hear this, but brace yourself for a wild ride with your 401k investments. You know, the stock market loves a pro-business climate, but investors aren't blind to the risks. Sure, lower taxes and less red tape can pump up corporate profits and GDP growth, but they also bring along higher deficits and inflation worries, which can lead to some market roller coasters. So what's a savvy investor to do? Experts say it's smart to hedge against inflation with Treasury inflation-protected securities, TIPS. Think of these bonds as your financial seatbelt. They adjust with inflation to keep your portfolio from flying off the rails. You might also want to check out commodities, real estate, and stocks, because when inflation rises, these assets usually tag along for the ride. Remember, diversification isn't just a fancy word, it's your best friend in the investing world. Can Trump really cut gas prices in half, or is it just hot air? Trump promises to slash energy costs, claiming he'll get gas prices below $2 a gallon with expanded oil drilling and fewer regulatory hurdles. He's even ready to declare a national emergency to boost domestic energy supply. But here's the thing. Presidents don't control global oil prices, and the US is already the world's top crude oil producer. Still, cheaper energy could lower food prices given agriculture's reliance on fuel. It's ambitious, but whether it's realistic, that's another story. Let's talk about a controversial claim. Fewer neighbors mean cheaper homes. Trump's immigration policy includes mass deportations, the largest in US history. His reasoning? Fewer undocumented immigrants competing for housing will bring prices down. His running mate, J.D. Vance, echoes this sentiment, blaming immigration for unaffordable housing. Economists aren't convinced. Deporting 11 million people would cost $315 billion. Disrupt industries, relying on immigrant labor, and potentially shrink GDP. Plus, housing prices are influenced by far more than just population numbers. Labor shortages from deportations could drive up costs rather than lower them. Fortune 500 companies keep their cool when the economy's on fire. It's all about smart messaging and a dash of corporate zen. For big corporations, navigating Trump's economy means mastering the art of communication. From healthcare to global supply chains, businesses are crafting resilient messaging to reassure stakeholders. Think, don't worry, we've got this. Internally, CEOs are doubling down on commitments to diversity, inclusion, and sustainability. Externally, it's all about adapting to political shifts while staying competitive. Media relations, government affairs, and investor prep will be in overdrive as companies position themselves for the next few years. Can you have your Social Security cake and eat it too? Trump thinks so, but does the math add up? Trump vows to protect Social Security and Medicare without raising the retirement age. He's also proposing to eliminate taxes on Social Security benefits, a move that could cost the government $1.6 trillion over a decade. But here's the kicker. These programs are already on shaky ground. Experts warn that cutting revenue streams could accelerate their insolvency, forcing Congress to step in or risk slashing benefits. It's a high-stakes gamble with millions of retirees' livelihoods at stake. Student loan forgiveness may not be here to stay, especially if Trump has a say in it. Trump has made his stance on student loans crystal clear. No forgiveness. He's praised the Supreme Court for striking down Biden's debt relief plan and criticized loan forgiveness as unfair to responsible borrowers. During his presidency, Trump paused federal loan payments temporarily during the pandemic. But future policies could include eliminating programs like public service loan forgiveness, leaving borrowers with fewer options. For the 43 million Americans with federal student debt, the road ahead could be rocky. Inflation may not be gone, it could just be lurking in the shadows. Inflation has cooled recently thanks to productivity gains and a slowdown in China's economy. But Trump's policies could bring it roaring back. The Peterson Institute projects inflation could rise to 6% to 9.3% by 2026, compared to a baseline of 1.9% without his policies. What's driving this? Expansive tax cuts, aggressive rate reductions, and those infamous tariffs. The result? Higher consumer costs across the board, from electronics to groceries. It's a delicate balance, and the scales could tip quickly. This deep dive into Trump's economic agenda shows us one thing. The stakes are high, and the outcomes are uncertain. From tax cuts to tariffs, energy costs to housing policies, the ripple effects will touch every corner of the economy. Whether these moves deliver growth or chaos depends on how the chips fall, and how prepared we are to adapt. Do you think Trump's bold economic moves will spark a new era of growth? Or are we heading straight for trouble? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We'd love to hear what you think. And that's a wrap. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe to Finavault to keep up with all the buzz. See you in the next one.